full disclosure, I've been reading Jayson Stark for years, not to age you, Jayson, from The Athletic, who joins us now. I don't know, maybe back in the Fox Sports Radio days over 20-some years ago, have I ever, Jayson, had you on a show? So I'm glad we're doing this. How are you, man?
Andrew, I'm great. Great to be on with you. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. Went to the Dodgers and Mets last night. I'll take it right there. And saw Ohtani, who didn't have a great night, obviously, but it was a great game, 10 innings again. Still don't know what happened on that ball in left field. But, hey, the Dodgers
Right.
got out of there with a win. But after watching the Yankees come in here last weekend and seeing, obviously, Ohtani every night, I'll get right to the MVP thing, even though it's only June 4. Jayson, if you had to vote right now, could you decide between Ohtani and Judge?
Wow. So we're talking about MVP
I know
of the
it's absurd.
sport,
It's June,
not to be the league.
But what they're doing is also absurd.
It's absurd. I would say there's no wrong answers. But if I had to pick one, Andrew, the year that Judge is having, I don't think we can say it's merely great. It's historically great. You're familiar with OPS Plus,
Sure.
right? Which adjusts for a player's era, the park he plays in. And right now, June the 4th, Aaron Judge is rocking a 248 OPS Plus. It's a scale of 1 to 100. 100's average. It means he's basically 150% better than the average player. And, in modern history, we've only seen two players have that season. One's Babe Ruth, the other is Barry Bonds. They both hit left-handed. So this is potentially the greatest season ever by a right-handed hitter. But I just want to mention, too, a few weeks ago, wrote a column saying Aaron Judge is the best right-handed hitter of the last 100 years because his OPS Plus over the last 4 seasons, 500 games now, has been twice as good as the average player over a 4-year period. We haven't seen a right-handed hitter do that since Rogers Hornsby. That was kind of a while ago.
That was a bit ago. Yeah, Jayson, I know it is June 4th. As I said, I was at the game last night and with a group of guys, and this was the conversation, right? Guys putting their feet up and having a beer on a random Tuesday night. Packed house. Great to see a Tuesday night. Granted, it's the Mets, right? And when New York comes to L.A., everyone goes to the stadium regardless of the sport. But that was the conversation last night because you had a group of people realizing that you are witnessing greatness coming through the doors of that building in the last 5 days. And you have to appreciate it. And we certainly all did. I hope baseball fans everywhere else appreciate the greatness that these two guys bring to the stadium every single night they go out there. And I am not one of these people that says, hey, drop everything, take the kids down to the ballpark. But for Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, Brockman, you last night were thinking of taking your son to the stadium. Like every chance you have to have your kids be able to say, hey, I went to see that guy when he came to town. I would do it.
Yeah, the star power that just oozes off the field when the Yankees are playing the Dodgers, and especially around those two guys, it's special. It's different. How about the first inning Friday night when Judge hits that bomb and then up steps Shohei and hits a ball that hit the Hollywood sign? I don't know. It just felt cinematic. It didn't feel like we could really be watching this. It felt like somebody wrote that script, but that's really every night in the life of Shohei. It feels like he's just writing his own script.
Yeah, and last night, by the way, as we talked to Jayson Stark from The Athletic, some guy named Juan Soto, who's not bad as well when it comes to historical context, also homered, and Max Muncy hit 2, including a game-tying home run in the 9th inning. It was a good game all around, and obviously the Yankees series good as well. Also, yesterday, Jayson, Paul Skenes pitched, and the Pirates didn't do much to help him out. If I were a Pirates fan, I would be sick to my stomach when I hear people even think or discuss the idea that maybe they would be open to trading the face of the franchise. Do you think, and again, it's June 4th, that is at all a possibility?
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Not at
Thank
least
you.
not this year. That'd be team building malpractice. But you could make a case the way they're handling him right now is team building malpractice. You know, Andrew's last 7 starts, he's got a 1.77 ERA. He's averaging over 6 innings a start, actually closer to 7 innings in 6. They're 2-5 in those games. And it's just a slice of life around the Pirates right now. And I've been on this soapbox since they fired the manager, fired Derek Shelton a few weeks ago. I just don't understand how the owner, Bob Nutting, can look at this and show me he understands what it means to have Paul Skenes on his team. You know, he has to know he's not going to sign him long term unless we have a drastic change in the economic system in the sport. So what's the window for the Pirates to win with this guy? I don't know how long it is, but guess what? This year is part of that window. And the big free agent signings that Bob Nutting authorized over the past winter were Adam Frazier, Tommy Pham, and Andrew Heaney. And then he fires the manager and issues a statement saying they need to show a greater sense of urgency. Tell me there's another contender for the least self-aware quote of 2025.
Yeah, like it's Derek Shelton's fault. This is why you have a draft. This is why you let the bad teams pick early to get the good players. So you have these opportunities to build. And when you're at the table in Vegas and you have this good of a hand, this is when you spend your money. This is when you move the chips that you hopefully have into the middle of the table. And if I were a Pirates fan, I'm not. I'm a Guardians fan, Jayson. So look, I understand how the medium to small size market thing can work, but they have found a way to spend when they need to. Maybe not as much as your average fan would hope for, but they have found a way. They've also developed a farm system a heck of a lot better than the Pirates. And it just seems like if I'm a Pirates fan, I would be ill.
I have several friends who are big Pirates fans. Ill is probably the kindest word you could use to describe how they're feeling right now. And see, there's a difference between how the Guardians go about it and the Pirates. There's a difference between how the Rays go about it and the Pirates. Those teams look at life in not just in each individual year and what the revenues are going to be in that year. They look in periods of time, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And they understand that when you get one of those groups that has a chance to win, that's when you try to maximize what you've got in that window. You try to win with that group because it's special and they're not going to be around as long as the Yankees core group. It just feels like the Pirates, Bob Nutting, they use their economic situation as an excuse. And I understand they're revenue challenged. Okay, they play in Pittsburgh. That's an issue that the sport probably needs to address sooner than later. But why do you own the team if you're not going to look at Paul Skenes and say, we've got a chance to win around one of the special players who will ever play here, and go for it? They have not even shown a hint of doing that. It's malpractice. It really is.
I agree. Jayson Stark, senior writer, baseball writer for The Athletic. Jayson, you got a cool thing going. The all quarter century team. I beg your pardon. And again, 25 years. It's 2025 quarter century team. I find it fascinating. Your picks as compared to the readers' picks, right? The poll here, because for some of them there's recency bias, right? And for others, it's like, wait, what? Like, for example, you're picking right field, going back to Aaron Judge, is Aaron Judge. I am as big an Ichiro fan as there is outside of Japan and Seattle. The idea that the fans picked Ichiro over Yankee Aaron Judge is stunning to me, although it kind of warms my heart.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was as close as it was. I honestly thought Ichiro would run away with this. sometimes when you write these columns, this whole thing was my harebrained idea.
It's great. I love
Wrote
it.
a column, let people vote, let people react. It's been tremendous fun. So sometimes when you do that, you try to make a point and stimulate conversation, stimulate debate. That happened. Nobody loves Ichiro more than I do. I just felt like, as I just told you, when we watch Aaron Judge, we're watching Babe Ruth. And we should value what we're watching, even though Ichiro did it for 20 years, and got all those hits on both sides of the Pacific. I just thought that Aaron Judge was one of those players where I could jump in and say, what we're watching now trumps that. Even though he plays in New York, I didn't think it would be close. So I was at least heartened it was close.
Yeah. The one that's interesting, we're getting a little down the rabbit hole here. The quarter century team Jayson Stark has on The Athletic. The one that's always interesting to me is third base. And Adrian Beltre was your pick, and the fans, the readers, picked Adrian Beltre as well. Adrian Beltre was a fantastic player. Fantastic. He is a Hall of Famer that I don't know that anyone ever bought a ticket to see. Like, no one ever says, honey, like, go back to the Judge and Ohtani thing. Honey, Adrian Beltre is coming to town. Want to make sure the kids can say one day that they saw Adrian Beltre in person, whomever he's playing for this year. Let's go buy a ticket to see Adrian Beltre. Yet, here he is, like, quarter century team, Cooperstown. And it's just one of those where people years from now go, oh, Adrian, oh, yeah, I remember him.
He was actually a pretty fun player, and a lot of people in Texas bought tickets to go see him. But I really wrestled with that one. When I wrote my column, I thought it was Adrian Beltre barely over Chipper Jones. No wrong answers. But the fact that Adrian Beltre, by almost any measure, is the second greatest defensive third baseman of all time, behind only Brooks Robinson, and got 3,000 hits. Did what he did over such a long period, got more Hall of Fame votes than any third baseman ever. That to me was what put him over Chipper. And then people voted, and Chipper was nowhere to be found, and Alex Rodriguez almost beat both of them. And I found this amazing, Andrew, because I read the reader comments on my original column, and I would say about 80% of them were beating on me for picking anyone that the readers thought was a cheater. And I had Barry Bonds on the team, for example. And I read all of this stuff, and then Alex Rodriguez almost won the balloting at third base. And I'm just amazed by how people can rant about cheating and PEDs and yet still love A-Rod. Explain that to me.
Listen, I live in the football world. I am just a guy that watches baseball on his couch. I haven't covered a baseball game since the 90s, like as a credentialed member of the media, actually with a role. But the difference in the two worlds, Jayson, it's jarring. Baseball, you got the PED thing, you will never shake it. I mean, you will take it to the grave, right or wrong. Football, guys can get dinged for steroids for a month, right? Let's say they're suspended a month. By the time they come back 5 weeks later, nobody remembers why they were suspended. Like, legitimately, they just know that they're out. Oh, they're back next week. Oh, cool. Wait, they're back next week. Yeah? Okay. Wait, why were they out? They don't remember. They just don't remember.
Yes.
It's amazing.
This has been a topic inside baseball for 20 years. You know that, right? In football, a guy gets suspended, and all anybody cares about is, when is he going to come back and help my fantasy team?
Yeah. Right. But even goes beyond that. Like, it's for defensive players as well. Oh, wait, you taking a wait? Was it steroids? No, wait. Was it a DUI? No. It was something in the offseason. Somebody sued him. Wait. Oh, wait, he's back next week though, right? Okay, cool. Good. We're good.
Well, okay, you know why this is, right? Because McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, those guys obliterated the greatest record in sports. The home run records that were once held by Roger Maris and Henry Aaron were the coolest, most romantic records in all of sports. And little old ladies walking down Main Street in any town, they knew what 714 meant. They knew what 61 meant. You know, those were such iconic numbers. And because of the PED era, those records ceased to mean anything. And I really think it's the reverence for those records, connecting the dots to Babe Ruth, that explains the reaction. And yet we have these black holes in how we look at this. Alex Rodriguez is one of them. I don't know if he's getting in the Hall of Fame, but it's amazing to me that he almost won in the all quarter century voting. Amazing.
Yeah. Ridiculous. I was in the dugout. I was in the clubhouse, rather, the third base clubhouse, Cubs home clubhouse in what year was it? 98 it was 98, right? 98. When somebody asked Mark McGwire, hey, what's that bottle up there on the top shelf of your dugout? It's androstenedione, right? Yeah. Well, what is androstenedione? Well, androstenedione. Well, Google really wasn't a thing. It was, but no, and then all of a sudden, and people, I mean, how many movies have been made about that? How many books have been written about that? Football doesn't matter. And by the way, maybe baseball is doing it the right way and football isn't. Maybe we should care that much and not be so dismissive. They're different sports. One's a gladiator sport, one is not, but whatever. I love the idea of the quarter century team. It's on The Athletic still. Jason's got a great column initially, and then afterwards, comparing his votes to everyone else's votes. It's good stuff. Jason, it's great to connect. Thanks for coming on. I promise we will not talk about the MVP in June ever again, but I figured this time it was worth it.
Andrew, enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Likewise. Jason Stark, everybody, from The Athletic. Good times.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.